Jeremy Jędrzejkowski, welcome to Rzeczpospolita TV, and today my guest is Berta Herrero, Head of Diversity, Equity and Inclusion, Huawei Europe, School for Female Leadership in the Digital Age Director. Hello.
It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you here with us. So we are talking during summer school for female leadership in the digital age in Warsaw. Over the whole week, the future female leaders from 29 countries, European countries, including Ukraine and West Balkans, are meeting, talking, exchanging experiences and networking here. Why inclusion is so important in organizations? What value it can add to business?
Basically, I think we can also ask the opposite question. If we don't have inclusion, that means that we are wasting a lot of talent, because there are people that are not being able to access job opportunities, who they might be very well qualified, might have very good skills that could help support our organization, from different ethnic backgrounds, socioeconomic backgrounds, and so on. But if we don't have inclusive policies, then some of these people might just not get in. So we are actually saying no to talent that would otherwise potentially bring immense value to the organization.
Why did Huawei establish European Leadership Academy?
Well, we basically understood that there was a problem in tech. This is what we call the gender gap. So not enough women were getting into STEM studies, so into mathematics, into science, into technology, and so on and so forth. So we said, well, but how is this possible? We are gonna need, the tech world is gonna need so many experts, and of course we need women to be included there. The skills gap is huge. For example, in cybersecurity in Europe, it is estimated that there is a shortage of 1 million cybersecurity professionals, 1 million jobs that are not filled. So women definitely need to play a role there. And the numbers of women in tech, let's say, are not very high. They vary per country, but they are around 20-30% in most cases, which means that a lot of female talent is going into other areas, which are of course important as well. I myself come from humanities, but if we don't diversify this talent, if we don't bring women on board, first, our technologies are not going to be as inclusive and as useful for the population as they should be, because this part would have been excluded. And also, we definitely need more women involved in the creation of technology. There is a skills gap and we need to close it, and women are the first step to closing it.
Okay, and Huawei is also running a school for female leadership in the digital age. What was the idea behind this project?
Well, the idea was basically, I come from a remote area in Spain, from Canary Islands, that is very beautiful.
Yes,
it's a touristic destination. I'm sure very many Polish people have been there, and we are very happy to have you there. But it's very remote, so it feels very far away from the capital and from continental Europe. When I was growing up, I was very good at all disciplines in high school, from mathematics to languages, everything. But no one really told me that I could be an engineer, or that I could be a doctor, or that I could be, an expert. At that time there was no AI, but an expert in technology. There was no AI, so as it is today. So I thought, okay, what is for me is, the humanities are, let's say, my limit, even though I was also good at other disciplines. So I had the idea, what if we were to tell girls that technology can be for them as well? In Huawei, we have different programs. Some programs are focused only on students who are already in technology, so that they can upskill in specific areas, like, for example, cloud. But in this case, our European Leadership Academy welcomes women who are studying technical subjects and also non-technical subjects. This is the beauty of it. Because the students, what they do here, the ones who come from non-technical subjects, for example, philosophy, law, languages, and so on, they acquire the basis, the tech basis that they need to understand whether they want to do something with technology in the future. Whereas the girls who come from technology or science, they acquire more soft skills that are not so much taught in those careers, like, for example, public speaking, negotiation, leadership. So in the end, you come out of the school with all the skill sets you need to shine and to thrive in the digital age.
So you are open for lots of possibilities. What are the best practices you can share in fields of DEI?
That's a very good question, especially now that we also see that diversity, equity, and inclusion is having a backlash as well, a push. Some companies are rolling back programs, but fortunately, at Huawei, we really keep our values strong, and we always say, leave no one behind. That's the strongest one. So a very important one, I think, is having role models. So whenever we want to show girls how beautiful technology can be for them, we are showing them the role models. Who can they be in the future if they take this path? So, for example, you might have seen that in this school, we have a huge majority of female speakers, around 80 to 90% of female speakers in very different disciplines. So girls are seeing that they can be an AI expert, that they can be a cybersecurity professional, that they can also work in sustainability, they can be entrepreneurs. They are having a lot of ideas being brought by these role models. And then what I can say about organizations is that, workplaces have to be adapted to their employees and not the other way around. So it's very simple to ask the question to your employees, what do they need? And their needs are gonna differ for sure. Some people appreciate having the chance to work from home, maybe because they need to balance with family obligations as well. Whereas some people, what they are gonna value more is having more time for team building, for example, or having fitness facilities around or whatever. So I think it's just like, we are getting into that moment where we just have to, instead of say it has to be like this, we have to be in listening mode and asking employees, what can we do better for you? How can we support you better? And that way you're also gonna be able to retain the best talents.
You mentioned it a little bit now, but what can you advise other organizations when they intend to start introducing DEI policies?
Well, the most important thing, as I said, is to first understand your business. And, I don't think that every business can do everything. It's impossible to do everything in every field. For example, in Huawei, we understood that we do have a very strong advantage when it comes to female inclusion, women in leadership. For example, our rotating chairwoman is a woman indeed. And also, our head of R&D worldwide is also a woman. But not only that, when you take Huawei, who is a company that comes from Asia, China, and also the European market or European partners, we see that gender equality and female leadership is a value that both parts of the world really share. There is no discrepancy there. So, instead of trying for another organization, for example, instead of trying to do things that they don't have experience with or that is very beyond their reach, why don't they just start with what they do best? And in whichever field they have, I'm sure that they can, promote and support their employees in a better way with better diversity and inclusion policies for sure. So start with your strengths, and then if it works, you expand.
Thank you for sharing your views and your experience. Berta Herrero, Huawei Europe was my guest. Thank you very much. Thank you for accepting our invitation to Rzeczpospolita TV.
It was beautiful to be here today, and I do love Warsaw, so thank you for having me.
Thank you, Jeremy Andrzejkowski. Thanks for watching.